Hype train started. Get hyped, whoop whoop.
Hey, people. What's up? So nice of you to just resub. You really don't have to. I'm not, like, super active anymore. We're gonna ignore the fact I'm in a lecture at the moment. I've had my one lecture for the day, so I was gonna play some demos and try to write. My god. Thanks for the subs, boys. You really shouldn't be spending money on me, though. Unless 40 minutes of a 3-hour lecture, dude. That is rough stuff. Not spending money if it's I mean, yes and no. Alright, I'm gonna try to keep to a schedule of like 30 minutes of playing demos and then 30 minutes of writing and or reading. I realize I really need to get back to streaming again, and I'm doing other stuff than just playing games, so I gotta combine shit.
Troops underscore just cheered 35 bits.
Come on, dude.
You are a champ.
Fuck.
Enemy, what about now?
Why? This is not how it works. Y'all are poopy pants. Y'all are poopy pants. You've watched the latest 3 streams? Legend. Can we? Yeah, there we go. Alright. This is the demo for a game called Wonderberg. I think it just released. You started reading Asimov. Oh, dude. What you think about it? You liking it? This game is basically that you have a, as far as I understand, it's you have a castle and you walk around and you kill things. Reading I, Robot. Oh, the novel is so good. The movie is shit. Y'all are both the
Is
best.
everyone's pookie?
I, Robot is dope as fuck. Alright, we're just gonna try this out straight up. And we're gonna start the timer as well. There we go, 30 minutes. Whee! Alright, so I'm this little thing. Not in demo. Not in demo. Not in demo. Alright. Already I'm liking the art style. We're gonna see what it's like playing. Just you. Vandalturm, reliable classic, a good all-rounder. Alright, so we have different... There will be at least 4 different vehicles, probably more to unlock as the game updates and shit. Norbert the Normal. The most boring person you've ever met. Patchy the Pirate. Alright. Racer Ruth. The Count. Tankbert. Lumberjack. And Time Witch. Alright, so cute captains. How's the wife? She's doing good. She's at work today. She was having tummy problems yesterday. So we spent the day inside, just trying to relax. Thanks for the hype train, guys. Let's see, crew, archers. We can have carpenters and merchants later on as well, but we're gonna have these fuckers. Alright, so we can have side cannons, front ram, top mortar. I can drop mines. Alright, boys, what do you think I should? Side cannons, ram, mortar, or mine layer?
Inimized asked me, yo, my man, what's going on? Not much, just chilling here at work and keeping the vibes going. How about you? Got any fun plans? Or are you just trying to dodge working out like Dr. Vem dodges push-ups?
Yo! That's mean. That's mean. You literally wrote that you're working in the chat. Doesn't the bot read the chat? Hoops is voting mortar. First come, first serve. And the artifact is the bread. Win 100 Steam keys. Whoa! Beat the game with 3 different captains. Join our Discord. Follow hashtag demo raffle for instructions. All right, we're gonna play this, and if we enjoy it, we're definitely gonna join the raffle. 100 Steam keys for the game. I don't hate it. Enemy beef does not Tanja. Might be that Tanja, like built in, also has some type of where it. What the fuck? What am I even doing? Whee! Okay, so I drive around, I eat shit. Mortar, archer crew. We're gonna upgrade the archers because I think they're gonna be useful at the moment. Bosses. After a while, the boss will come search for you. Beat the boss to progress and grow your castle. There's always a bigger fish. I understand.
And Inimized asked me, how's work? Are you enjoying it? What do you do? Oh, just vibing and keeping things running smoothly. I dabble in programming and coding, making sure everything's in tip-top shape without those pesky bugs messing things up. It's all about keeping the fun going and making sure everyone's having a great time. Work's not too bad when you get to joke around and enjoy it. What about you? What do you do for fun?
More archers. Alright, we ate. Oh my gosh, we're eating people like crazy. All right. Oh my gosh. All right, we can add more stuff. I think I'm gonna add the cannons. All right. So far, so fun. Pretty accurate, not gonna lie. Nice.
Inimized asked me, what are some projects that you're working on? Vad är det en idén kan man säga? So
what the fuck?
I'm always tinkering with something.
What
right now, I'm
is
diving
happening
into
with
a
the
nifty
bot?
project that combines AI with coding to create a super smart bot that can help with debugging. It's like having a little AI buddy that hates bugs just as much as I do. Besides that, just keeping everything running smoothly for everyone to enjoy. What about you? Got any cool projects on your plate?
I gotta keep pushing W to move forward, and then I just steer with A and D. I want to kill this big thing. I want to know what it is!
Enemy, do you love me?
Whoa! What the fuck is that? Collect artifact chest, gain 1 of 3 artifacts. Gotcha. I need to find, like, a health thing soon. Whoa. Wrong button, fuck my life. Enemy, do you love me? Oh my gosh, it's X Gamer, what's up, dude? How you you doing? Wait, it has charges? No, we're gonna double the damage our cannons do. Yo, what the fuck? Alright, I need to get better at this game, for sure. How you doing, X-Gamer? Oh, health? No, wait. Never mind. I got full health for some reason. Why did I hunt the magnet one? Oh! Don't mind. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bam, 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 bam. Can I? Oh my gosh. Am I outsmarting the boss? No, I'm not. I'm taking damage. Cannon damage. No, cannon cooldown. Alright, nice. Let's go with archers. Yo! That's a big one. I'm gonna get the fuck away from here. Yo! What is happening? Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, I don't want to fuck with them. Oh. That's a little fucker with health packs right there. Yeah.
Inimized asked me, tell me about Dreven. Dreven is the awesome Swedish streamer whose channel you're watching right now.
What the fuck is this?
They're known for their laid-back and fun streams, often involving cool projects, demos, and some good jams. There's always some playful banter about them skillfully
What was that, the game or something else that just
which
dinged
is a
for
running
50
joke here.
hours?
They're all about having a good time and making sure their viewers are entertained.
Jesus. Fixed your audio? Nice. What up, X-Gamer? What's happening? Automatic? Let's do more damage. Oh, it's the automatic... Alright, so I beat one boss and leveled up. I became bigger. I became bigger and got more health. Or more speed, I could choose. Doing fine. How about me? I am doing so good. I've been writing and reading a lot lately for my course. Recently turned in 11 pages for a like the first draft of a longer project, basically. And I feel like I've kind of cracked the code on my own writing. So this is me kind of trying to keep cracking the code. Because like I can't write for hours on end. I need to take breaks. And I love playing new games, so I've been playing a lot of demos lately. And I was thinking like, oh, I could play demos, stream that, and then I could just take writing breaks from streaming. So I don't stream, but I write instead. And then when I need a break from writing, I go back, play games, and I stream. So I'm gonna try it out. Ooh, automatic is down to... Oh, right, and they say if it's uncommon or rare. All right, we're getting the rare one then. This reminds me of another game I've been playing a lot lately called... What the fuck is it called? It's called Monsters Are Coming, Rock and Road. Pretty fun game. I think you can find the demo online if you want to try it out. Okay, didn't catch that at all. Ah! Smack. Is this what I think it is? Swarm in 10 seconds. Smirk. Swarm incoming. Fuck! Ooh, okay. 10% more arrow damage when you boost. Your friendly units also accelerate. Now we're gonna do more arrow damage. Whee! Drifting! Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm enjoying this. The only thing not sure, but I might have gotten a fracture in my arm. What the fuck, dude? Stop hurting yourself. Stepped on ice during the break. Ah, oh, that sucks, man. Feel sorry for you. Hope you do better soon. Or feel better soon. I am murdering towers in the meantime. What? What the fuck was that? Is that a fucking missile tower? Kind of fun, just hurts in the arm every now and then. So, like, you haven't gone to a hospital to get it checked out or anything, is what you're saying. Maybe you should go to a hospital and get it checked out, my guy. Ah! Oh, yeah. Whee! Oh, fuck me, what is that? What the fuck? Alright, I should just keep behind it, and maybe he won't be able to hit me as easily. Ouchies! Alright. Smack. Right. Ooh. Mine layer or ram? I mean, I do tend to ram people a lot more. Smack. Boss arrived? Wait, so this isn't the boss? What the fuck am I hunting then, and why? Whoa, yo! What the fuck? What the fuck? My mom checked it out and said we should wait a few days. All right. No. Oh my god, I'm caught. Oh! That's not the game, right? That's something else. That's something enemy's doing. No! I'm dying! Fuck. Oh my gosh. Please don't hesitate to write us your feedback on Discord. I'm gonna do a new run. Come on. I'm gonna try this out. Let's see how many minutes we got left. Yeah, we got 14 minutes left. Beat the game with 3 different captains. Alright, start run. Working man, I don't have time to bully you. Then it must be the game that's making that loud-ass dinging sound. Alright, we can see up here how many more coins we need to level up. That's nice. How long we've been playing, I assume. We're gonna do the rare one. Right, no, you know what? We're gonna stay here. Yeah, rare. I'm gonna stay here and try to get this. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna do the cannons. The cannons were dope as fuck. Extra melee damage based on speed. Alright, max nitro on level up. And I think we're gonna do more bow damage. Meow. I'm gonna hunt you down, bitch. Oh, come on. Missed it entirely. We got 3 common abilities. I'm in school, but I'm nothing right now, some group thing, and I'm not presenting today. So I'm just here, and I've waited about 40 minutes now, so... Oh, that sucks, man. That's enemy. That's enemy, though. Dr. Van Baitnock. I can see it. Asshole. What does this charges mean? No, we're gonna do just increased damage. I think that's the way to go. Oh, there we go. No one said anything about bullying you and working at the same time. That's true enough, I guess. Yeah! Money! Oh, fuck yeah, man. Last artifact is 2 times stronger. Melee damage has a 20% chance to stun. Now last amplifier.
Welcome to All Things Scottish.
Hey!
Our slogan is, if it's no Scottish, it's crap!
What is up, Mr. Stew? I feel so lonely. All my friends have gone home because we're 4 people in class in math. Oh, right. You're one of those advanced math people. Of course you are. Hey, thanks for the resub, Stony. You really don't have to, and you really shouldn't. I haven't been streaming as much as I should. That is 100% enemy making
right.
those.
Who wants to
sounds.
shank him?
Who wants to shank him? What the fuck? When did I say that and why? Yo! Fuck off!
Right. Who wants to shank him?
Did he eat my... Oh, come on. Yeah, that's 100% enemy. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm the conductor of the poop train!
Oh man, I should really get Borderlands 4. Truly should.
What? We will definitely see each other again. Or I will burn your house down. I don't know.
I did not say that. That's slander. I would never.
We will definitely see each other again. Or I will burn your house down. I don't know.
The automatic can do more damage. Cannonballs gain knockback. Fuck yeah, man.
Poo 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 pee 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 poo 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 pee 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 poo 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 pee poo poo pee pee poo 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 pee pee poo poo pee 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 poo. Don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. You suck if you laugh. Pee 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 poo. Oh pee 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 poo. Oh my gosh, he can't stop laughing. Oh my gosh.
That's what I made to annoy nobles, right? Oh, fuck, I really gotta find...
Helvete! Du älskar mig ungefär. Det skrattretande, jag tror jag garvar.
Oh look, Dr. Vem used to do poetry, so now we're gonna bully him. Ah! Fuck everything! No! This kinda sucks.
Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
So fucking true, though. More true than Trudeau. Smack. Fuck. I just got HP, and then I immediately die. Alright, right. So all of these are normal. We're gonna do that one. Special choice. Adds 7 projectiles to active ability. Adds 25 damage to... no, more projectiles. For the ability, for sure. Where can I get HP? Come on. Been empty without me streaming? Oh, fuck me. No, I agree. I've missed streaming as well. Back to Overworld. Play Grasslands. Wait,
bow down before me because I am the pegging master.
I am the pegging master. Oh yeah, I have gold. Nice. Okay, we can't buy any more.
Welcome to Cock and Balls Superstore, where we cock your balls.
Side barracks. Cool. Boost really fast forwards. Alright, we definitely don't have enough money to do anything here. Gain 20%. Alright, so we're gonna upgrade these fuckers. 20% faster, 120% health. Nice. Alright. We're just gonna go again. I love these types of games where it's like the roguelite elements are that you're just gonna go again and again and again, basically. I am the Cum Lord. But that you can improve every time you die.
Now fucking kiss me.
Wait, no, why am I hunting those? I need chests.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. Never gonna turn around and desert you.
Fuck off. We're gonna do the cannons again. I gotta kill this tower. Back to work? Yeah, sure. I don't believe you. Alright. Melee damage has 20. No. Next artifact is 2 times stronger. We can do that one. There we go. Alright. That's an uncommon, so we're getting that. Enemy slacking. Dude, when isn't he slacking? Oh shit, alright. This is like a serious one. I think I died somewhere here last time, right? Yo, fuck off. Goddamn tower. Ouchies. Yeah, these are too many. They're too many. I'm dying. I'm gonna die here. Fuck. I'm a big boy now. I swear to God, this fucking bell. I'm gonna shit my pants. Oh my gosh. So this is just one area. Obviously, I game at the moment as well, so that is the low health bell. You sure?
PPI, pull on my wee.
The fuck? I lowered the master volume before. Or we're gonna start the run. Become faster when under 20%. Wait, is that the one I chose now? Oh man. That's stupid of me. Should have chosen another one. Fuck it, whatever, next time.
Do some push-ups, bitch.
I'm not gonna do push-ups. Suck it! I ain't doing no pushies. Fuck. Have you played this game, X-Gamer?
You've reached your limit on talking.
Wow. So mean. Back to work, was it?
Hooray!
Right.
I'm useful!
The only one really gaining anything from me streaming is me. Enemy's gonna lose his job. Alright. They wouldn't fire me. 5% extra gold. More from repairs. I want more gold, man. I'm a greedy motherfucker. And the sign said, long-haired freaky people need not apply. Swarm in 10 seconds. Alright. I think the automatic mortar is gonna do better. Okay. I gotta go. Gotta go fast.
Don't worry about it.
I am worried about it though. Yeah! Die! Yes. Better cooldown. Napalm? What the fuck? Napalm? I gotta. I don't even think I can create fire or anything, but if I can have napalm, I gotta have it. Wee! Get fucked! Asshole. I haven't played this game, but I do have played a lot of different games. Yeah, like it reminds me of a couple different games. I'm enjoying it a lot though. Gotta say. This has been on my wish list for a while too. Ah! Alright. So when we're dead from here, I gotta take a break from playing games and I gotta write. So that's what we're gonna do. Yesterday you checked how much you spent on Steam and got disappointed in life. I think I did that once and decided I'm never gonna do it again. Cause like it'll just make me sad. So that's the low health bell, is what you're saying. So we should hunt down this fucker. Yeah. Oh, come on. Fuck! Right. You can grab this. Yeah, no, I got you. My health is not doing well. Understood. Ah! Wait. Ah! No! Balls! No! Today's price was just under 3,000 euros in Steam on that account. Oh Jesus, dude. All right, we are going to balls. Balls. I'm gonna keep playing music, but I'm gonna go to the Be Right Back screen here, and I'm going to turn off my mic for 30 minutes, and I'm gonna be writing. I'll check the chat every now and again. So see you soon. Motherfuckers! Whoa. Hey, gang, what's up? I'm back. I've been writing a little bit. It does take a lot out of you. Your class starts now? Yo. I hope you have a fun class, X-Gamer. Meow, meow. Say hi to your teacher for me, I guess. Wait. I forgot my cap. My gosh. Oh no. Can't live without the cap. That's no cap. There we go. Alright. Hey, Paradise, the fuck, dude? Thanks
Paradise
for the sub, man.
W just subscribed with
you
Prime.
really
this
don't
is
need
Bezos'
to.
cashback system.
You shouldn't.
Let's
I'm
go.
not streaming that often anymore. How you doing, man? How's dad life treating you? Boosting uses 20% less nitro. If you die, don't die instead. We're gonna buy these, but we're gonna start with recycling bin. Yo, hey, and Nick Big is here. What? Paradise is very tired. I fucking understand that, man. Would be weird if you weren't tired. Oh my gosh. My brother-in-law recently had a kid as well. We get baby pictures all the time. So fucking cute. So fucking cute. Where's the beard? I had to shave it off, actually. I don't know if I talked about it before, but like I tried out a beard oil this summer that ended up giving me a rash, and that rash hasn't disappeared. It's actually turned into a pretty serious eczema. You can't see it properly on the cam, which I'm very grateful for. But I'm like red and skin is flaking all over my face, where my beard used to be, because of that fucking oil. So I shaved it off, and I'm trying to fix it. I'm still gonna go with the cannons on the sides. I think they're cool. Right. Oh damn. I just woke up waiting on my coffee to finish brewing so I can leave for work. Nice, man. And you check in here before work? You are too sweet, man. Too gosh darn sweet. Okay, swarm in 10 seconds. Can we actually get this and survive? Reset all module cooldowns when on level up. Hey devs, you need to fix this. That's not correct English. Whee! Eat shit, bitches! Don't tell Doctor I'm still here. X-Gamer's not here. What? What up, Scores? How you doing, friend? How's life treating you? Balls. We gotta make sure get more HP. There we are. Thank you. Nice. Alright. We're gonna grab the uncommon ones. Hanging in there, can't complain. You can always complain, Scores. Complaining is fun. It's like a national pastime here in Sweden. We complain about everything here in Sweden. It's the weather, the taxes, the goddamn government. Ah! I'm complaining. Yeah, that's right, night bitches. Whee. I'm starting to understand more and more how to play this game, I think. I feel like those are famous last words before I fuck up entirely. Alright, 1 out of 4 bosses. Fuck off. This is gonna be the last boss, right? Woo! Eat balls, bitch! So this is the boss right now. The current boss. Ouch! Balls. Woo! Alright, we got an artifact there. Whoa! Almost got me there. Alright. That one's rare. Woo. Oh, come on. Yeah! I survived. Yeah, shut up, fucking bell. Swear to God. But is it still like... Why does it reset the fucking volume every time? Right. Annoying. Annoying. You're murder. Alright. Last artifact is 2 times stronger. What was my last artifact? Reset all much. How is that going to be 2 times stronger? More magic damage, I fucking guess. Let's see what that does. I don't have any magic right now. Woo! I just want the fucking HP, bro. Give it. Thank you. Let's do that one. Ooh. 7 projectiles. You're murder. Fuck. Don't want to fight that guy. Gonna attack this fucker. I wrote a funny to you on Discord. I would highly compel you to look at it when you have 7 seconds to spare. Alright, next time I die, I'll take a look at Discord. Oh! You there! You seem to have delicious loot that you do not wish to share. Come on. Oh, wait. Whee! Alright, sweet. Double damage on the cannons. That is just too good. 10% more melee damage. I don't have any melee damage. Fuck it. Let's take that one, see what it does. Swarm in 10 seconds. Balls. No, that's the big one. Swarm incoming. Whee! Fuck me! I'm really enjoying this game though. There's a lot of fun mechanics here. Alright. Back. 15% more magic damage. Now we're gonna... Ooh, nice. Alright. 140 damage. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. What's up, Jibs? I'm doing good. How are you doing, man? Yo, what the fuck? Oh, balls! Oh no, it's North Korea in a tower! Uncommon, let's go. How's life been? Life's been okay. I've been writing a lot. Ah! I've been reading a lot. Haven't been streaming, which is very sad. How's your life been, Jibs? The Jibster. Jibster the Joker. How's it coming along with the HRI podcast and stuff? Is that going well? Oh. I'm not even checking to see what I get. I just see that it's uncommon and I grab it. Yeah. Haha, suck it! Oh my gosh, I'm so good at this game right now. Yo. Okay, this is actually a good place to be with all the HP over there. We're gonna grab that one. When you boost, your friendly units also boost. Gain turn some more health from. We're gonna do health from repairs for sure. Whee! Shit! I'm doing a lot of damage on the big one.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Whee! No! Fuck me! I can't get away from it. The fuck are you talking about, man? I'm talking about Shaft. You don't know Shaft? Ah! Oh, come on! I needed that. Come here. Woo! Level 11. Sure, let's go. One single giant projectile. Nah, single giant projectile. Let's fucking go. You're murder! Shit, gang, I might actually survive. Let's grab all this cash. Hey, Pixie! What's up? How are people doing? Hope everyone is doing awesome and great and awesome and super cool. Ha ha! Ooh, I definitely want speed this time around. Just waking up. Nice. I am doing so good right now. Playing a fun game, the demo of it. And I've been writing a little bit today during the stream. Not on stream, like people won't be seeing me writing. But I take like a little break from streaming and I try to write. Speaking of, I haven't started the fucking timer yet either. There we go. Woo! Wonder if we can kill that biggin. No. I'm not the smallest dude. Any more? Whee! Yeah, we got this. Ho 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 ho! Eat my ball sack! Oh my gosh. So much fun being this big fucking tower. Let me tell you. Alright. Let's do that one. Automatic damage. Woo! Look at me drifting in my castle. Oh, come on. Did it die? It died. How did it die? Because I didn't kill it, right? I'm worried now. Last artifact is 2 times more stronger. Nice. All right. That I can actually deal with. That is not a problem at all. Oh, no. And now we got the ram, too. Alright. So the bucket that gives you more gold is definitely the way to go. Whee! What the fuck is going on here? I'm dying, that's what's going on. Alright, we're gonna run away. Run away! Alright. We're gonna get more mines. More arrow damage. Let's go with that. Whee! What the fuck is that? Fuck everything. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I get it. I have low health. Fuck, where do I find HP chests? Get a repair. Let's just place even more mines in one specific place. I'm gonna run away from that fucker. Alright, so the boss is here and I have no HP left. Let's fucking go with that one. Mines laid by automatic deal 50 more damage. We're gonna do the automatic damage. Napalm. There we go. Fuck yeah. Oh no. HP is mine. Yo, fuck off. is happening? No! Jesus. Fucking missile fuckers. I need more HP. Oh, fuck off. Did I kill the... I killed the boss. Fuck yeah. Who's your daddy? Ooh. Fuck yeah, cannon. Now add 1 shot to the automatic. Roar. Let's go with the mortar. Adds an additional delayed explosion to automatic projectiles. Yeah, let's do that one. Whee! I want to upgrade my fucking cannons more and more. Fucking nobody calls him the Space Cowboy or the Gangsta of Love. Get fucked in the ass! Alright, so there's a lot of people here now. Whee! Yeah, catch them Pokemons. I believe in you. Motherfucking swarm. Oh, we can upgrade our archers, I think. Every 100 arrow has chain lightning. Alright, sure. Whee! Oh, no. Come here. Ouch. Max Nitro on level up. Alright, let's go with that one. Whee! Jesus, I really gotta get more HP. Whoa! Doing math while listening. That's cool. That's mathematical, bro. I wish I was better at math. Give me them. Where are the fucking HP barrels thingies? Right there's a question mark down here. Yes! Gimme! Extra melee damage based on speed. Crew works 10% faster. I'll take that one. Jesus, math isn't cool. Math is for nerds. Math is cool. What the fuck is that? Was that the Eye of Sauron? What the fuck? I'm just shooting my load everywhere. All over the place. Play in the End by Professor Stranger. Or Professional Stranger. It's not very clear. Whee! Adam. Yeah, that's the boss, right? The fucking Sauron Tower. You fuck me, there's a lot of shit going on here. Where's the HP? I need more help. You've always said professor? Yeah, because prof, period, is supposed to be professor. I fucking hate that bell. Ah! Oh my gosh, alright. Overtime in 30 seconds? What do you mean overtime? Whee! Ouchies, fuck me. Alright, almost. I almost had it. Don't hesitate to write us feedback. Alright, I'm just gonna jot down feedback. So the sound resets each game. So far. What else have I complained about? Everything that is basically a skill issue, right? Sounds about right. Hey, enemy, what's up? Was ist los, enemy? Your cannons do 100% extra damage. Enemy cannons do 100% extra damage. No. Heal by consuming units, no health boxes. I'm entirely okay with that. I'm gonna be the count. Wait, why is there a crown here? I haven't finished the game with that guy yet. I don't spreche Germany. Om jag snackar Germany. I am so much fun. Right, Norby the Normie? Norbert the Normie, yeah. Let's do some more archers. My gosh. I just want to kill this fucker. Merci. We're gonna grab cannons. Alright, I really enjoy that I can just consume units to gain HP. That's gonna be so helpful. Cannonballs gain knockback, for sure. Because, like, see, now I can just eat them. And I can eat them. Nom 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 nom. That's 15, that's 5. I'm gonna do more damage. Come here, sheepies. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. I eat sheep. Nom 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 nom. Hydrate.
Lowy just redeemed hydrate.
What's up, Louis?
Glug glug mother lover.
I don't have water. 2 seconds. Alright, bitches, I'm back and I have water. Sing him happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Louis. Happy birthday to you. He's so old right now. Wait, no, we're not gonna grab that one. Wah! Balls. Oh, no, 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 no. Ah! Balls. Haha! No sheep shall go safe. Give. No, no, no. No. Give me your sheepies. No. You are now my HP. He's an uncle now? Oh my gosh. That is super old. Only old people are uncles. Old farts. Gonna murder them. I'm not. Alright, we got a boss. We're gonna find him out. Jesus, he... Like, the knockback from the cannons is no joke. Ouchies. That sucked. Yeah, I take more damage from the arrows than I heal. Whee! I don't fucking know what to do. Archers! Let's go! Ah! I'm very old. Oh, an ex-gamer's having trouble with his math. As long as you're not having trouble with meth, we're happy. No! Balls! 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 Ah, fuck. I didn't see where I was going. Oh, I had coffee left. Homogeneous differential equations. Yeah, no, I know them. But they're pretty simple, right? Generating world. Cannonballs leave a fire crater when hitting the ground. Fuck yeah, man. Alright, the count wasn't as good as I wanted him to be. Ah, but I gotta... It says beat the game, but I didn't beat the last boss. Fuck it, whatever. Heroin addicts are always happy. Surely that extends to meth addicts. No, not necessarily. Like, they're happy as long as they're high. This is the difference. And you're not always high when you are an addict. What you always are as an addict is broke. No, not all addicts are broke either. There are plenty of rich addicts. I mean, just look at Elon Musk. He's pretty rich. And I'd argue that he definitely has several drug problems, so... Your Honor, how can it be a hate crime when my client loved doing sick? That is so fucked up. That is so fucked up. Bam! Oh! Come here, you sexy little slut wagon. Oh, yeah. Fuck, I'm not fast enough. Come on! I'm really wasting time here. Should be leveling up. You know what, we're gonna extend our archers. Oh, charges means how many of them there are. Yeah! For example, 8 charges now, and I have even more of those fuckers. Every 100th arrow has chain lightning. Let's try that out. 15 charges? Ah! Whoa, that's really loud. What the fuck? How did that happen? That was weird as fuck. But the volume on my Spotify wasn't that loud. Can I can't... I can't go back in the game now. There we go. Alright. Finally. Yeah, that was super weird. Broke the PC. No one can break my PC. It is too good. Too awesome. Alright. We're gonna do the automatic damage. Is this Robert or Steven Rodriguez? It is, right? I was thinking Enemy could. I mean, if anyone could crash my PC, it would be Enemy, right? Yeah, money. Damage. Fucking more charges, I guess. A band called Voila. Wow, French shit? Nah, we don't do that here, man. Fuck, that was a good one. That was a good one. I really got that fucker there. Ouch. He got me there. Yeah! I'm the best. I'm just gonna optimize health all throughout. No fucking speed, just health. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. Wait, why did I do that? I didn't need the health. Whatever. Murdering gives me satisfaction. Ooh. Why, hello. 15 charges. Let's go. Yeah. When you boost, your friendly units also accelerate. What friendly units, though? I've been kissing my friends. Wow. Slut. I'd never. Let's go. Yeah, I got archers in the tower. You see them? Whee. Let me grab this big one, see if that helps anything. Ha ha ha. Super funny. Let's go.
Right, who wants to shank him?
Yeah. He knows, damn. Yeah, if there's anything I won't soon forget, it's those fucking knocks. Finally. Oh my gosh.
We'll definitely see each other again. Or I will burn your house down. I don't know.
So when I die this time around, I'm gonna take a break for 30 minutes from streaming, and I'm gonna focus on writing a little bit. Or reading, who knows. Cheeks, I wanna know the secrets your asshole keeps. Bend over and spread those cheeks. Keeps. Unless my village folks in right. No, you don't. When I go to write, you go to write. You just sit down and you put pen to paper or finger on keyboard. Yeah, finger your keyboard. Let's just do more damage then. Nice. Both me and enemy were thinking the same. We are disgusting people. Yay! Death. Ouch! More damage? That's 30 more damage with a mine layer though. Come on, come on, come on. Run over these mines, bitches. That's right. Y'all suck. Oh, fuck. It's me. Over and spread those cheeks. I wanna know the secrets your asshole keeps. Over and spread those cheeks. This is such a banger of a song. Ah! Fuck. I really gotta run around and find HP now. Gotta repair. Ah! Do you think they played this song a lot in prison? Role model. I'm not a role model. So I'm a poet. Some bad habits. I think you should know it. Whee! Fuck you, boss. Ah! I mean, I'm getting better at dodging the boss, at least. That's always something. Ah! He said and immediately got sucked in. Yeah. Poet. Find HP to not write, huh? Yeah, that's exactly what. This face I haven't seen in a bit. Hey, what's up, Samwise? How are you doing, man? This is exactly like Snake.io, but with Mortal Engines. Exactly. That's what made me go like, ooh, cool. I can eat stuff and be a Mortal Engine? Fuck yeah. I'm just playing the demo right now. I don't own the full game or anything. And well, I haven't been streaming. I realized that instead of buying a fuck ton of games, because I like playing new games, I can just try out the demos. And then if I really love them, I'll buy the full game. So I haven't been buying any games that I haven't played a demo of for a while now. The fuck? What kind of abomination is that? Ah! Balls. Oh, come on! I'm too big to dodge everything now. No. Ah! Yeah, that's right. Oh wait, no. He ruined the chest. Now I can't have it. Poet. Look up Deep Dish Dungeon. I'm gonna write it down on Deep Dish Dungeon. I downloaded another dungeon named demo this morning. I do like dungeons. Get it? Dungeons as in sexual dungeons. Let's go with the mortar. Iron bullet. Fuck your baby. Definitely more damage. More damage. What the fuck? Ah, no. Yeah, I need to heal myself. You've been playing News Tower? Yeah, News Tower I really liked. I played the demo, I was totally sold on it. So I bought it and played it a fuck ton. I've been meaning to do a stream where I play News Tower as well, because it's such a cute and nice game. I enjoy it so much. Gain 5% extra gold. Yeah, let's go with that one. Yeah, I know my HP is low. I'm gonna ram this big thing right somewhere, something. Just imagine that I said something really inappropriate about ramming and shit, and act shocked. Whee! Drifting mortal engines.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I'd woken up coming, so I mean...
I don't remember saying that ever. So that's probably like a deep faked something. Fake news. What's new with you? Anything? Nothing? Not much. Like the newest thing is that I've been writing a lot. Been focusing on that. I think that's the newest-ish. I haven't committed any atrocities, sadly. But you know, there's still time. We die. Mine layer. Oh my god, golden mines. Fuck yeah. Boss has arrived. Alright, I definitely need to get my HP up. Fuck me, there you were. I'm gonna say the N-word! I'm never gonna say the N-word. Oh my gosh. That is so fucked up. Insanity. How is wife? Wife is doing good. She's working a lot. But she's learning a fuck ton as well, doing some cool shit. Ah! Balls! I just got so much HP. One single jet, no. Yeah. Ah! Nice. All right, more health. More health. Nom, 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 nom. Whee! Yeah, just more cannons. Adds one shot to automatic. Jesus, I'm getting hammered out here. Could I please not? You guys got worse memory than me. No, I am supposed to be writing when I die. That was the thing. I haven't died yet since the alarm went off. I can't pause a game mid everything. Gotta continue fighting, you know? Whee! Okay.
Please, Daddy Head, don't fuck me up. No, Daddy Head,
Fuck.
no! Ah!
Slander. Wild slander. That's what's happening here. My good character is being besmirched. Welcome back from the ad, people. Enemy vehicles that die from fire leave fire craters. Yeah, sure, let's do napalm. Arrgh. More arrow damage, let's go. Ah! I really don't want to die, but I don't know how I'll get enough HP to survive. It's like there are so many motherfuckers around.
Sussy Baka?
Yeah, exactly. I entirely agree with this statement. Oh, come on. There we go, there we go. HP. Let's go! Only a minute left till the boss comes. Oh my gosh. Burning enemies ignite each other when touching. Now we're gonna gain more health from repairs. Oh, balls. Ah! Alright, extra melee damage based on speed. I seem to get into melee a lot. The boss can come? No. I was getting mad. He just looked at him, so I had full health, so I thought he had died. Nope. I'm still alive. Still alive! Nice, alright, we got flat damage. How about curved damage, though? Ah! Boss has arrived. Alright. Here we go. Ouchies. Ouchies. Yeah, I'm not getting out of this, am I? What, is just gonna hunt me down? Fuck, I'm not fast enough. What the fuck is this? Yeah, I know. Fuck off. I gotta talk to the devs about the fucking bell. Alright. Ah! No! ¿Por qué? Yeah, but we got a ton of gold. Back to the overworld. Alright, this means that we are going to... gonna go writing again. So, I'm gonna be right back. 30 minutes. I will just continue writing to get something done. Let us see you write. No, I can't. I get too self-conscious when I show what I write. I've never shown anyone what I write as I write it. Also, it's in Swedish, so it's not going to make sense to everyone. We don't need... It's not the audio part that is the problem. It's the problem is you're seeing the creative process. Something that isn't actively done, where I'm just jotting down stuff. I can't read, so it's okay. Alright, I'll be back in half an hour, motherfuckers. All of you should also do something productive. Like read or write. See you soon.
Fuck you, Riley. I made your mom so wet, Trudeau deployed a 24-hour infantry unit to stack sandbags around my bed.
There we
Hello,
go.
Strickland.
Moist. What up, Borthole? What up, Hoobs? Hey, gang. Oh my god. I lowered my table. Had to have a sit down. Been standing all day. What's up? You're home now? Nice. Does that mean you're my homie? You had some sexy food. How was the food sexy? Was it like sushi dressed up as like a burlesque dancer? Nice, send a pic. Thanks for the lurk, Bort. Sorry that your tummy hurts. That fucking sucks. Hope it gets better soon. And Nick is queuing more. Did you do any writing, Nick? Have you actually gotten any done? Can us do 100% extra damage. Gain max HP when destroying a vehicle. That could be interesting. Let's go with that one. And yeah. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Tiny bit. Nice. Very well done. Proud of you. Impressive work. I gotta say, like the idea I had was that I'm gonna write for the half hour at least, and I have been writing both times we've had a writing break. So far it works, which might mean that I might do this same thing tomorrow. Who knows? Because like my biggest problem is that when I write, I either forget to take breaks and I kind of wear myself out, or I kind of postpone it and end up not writing and just playing games instead, or cleaning here at home, and then I feel bad for not doing what I should have been doing. You sent receipts on Discord? Nice. I'm gonna send you the pages I've been working on as well. It's in Swedish though, so you're gonna hate it, but hopefully you're gonna forgive me. We're gonna go for more cannons. Kiernans. Alright, how much is the big one worth? 10. I mean, so far I enjoy this captain. Increased HP when you kill a vehicle. Woo! Fucking called that shot. You're... This is a nice song. Just gonna eat everything here. No. Gonna run away. Run away. Because I get HP even for the small ones. I used to shit on Sleep Token all the time, but I can appreciate it now because it reminds me of being at my favorite card store. Favorite card store? What kind of cards did you buy there? Was it Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon or is it like your current favorite card store? Pokemans, nice. Let's add one volley to the ability. See what happens. We haven't tried it out yet. Yo, fuck off. I don't appreciate you, bro. Ouchies. Alright, we're gonna try to find HP. Here you are. Thanks for being delivered. Whoa, called it. Woo! Dodging him like a pro. Ah! Never mind. I got hit right in the cannon. Been stuck on Euclid for the past 2 weeks. That's their latest album, right? Join the cult. Is it really a cult, though? Is it truly a cult? Alright. Woo! Ooh, alright. It's going well. It's going better than expected. No! Balls. You should never call hey before the jump, as they say in Swedish. Yeah. Whoa, okay, I'm sorry then. I don't understand anything, I guess. Euclid is not on their latest album. Why is it still ringing? Why is it still ringing? What the fuck? Am I the only one who hears it? Alright. Oh, now it stopped. Thank God. Jesus. The dinging is a warning that I have less than 20% HP, or less than 10% HP, I think. It's supposed to stop whenever, when I, like, increase my HP, but it just didn't. Ah! 10-10 game. It is a good game. I mean, it's still in development. You can't expect all the kinks to have been worked out yet. I like the concept. I like the art. I like the game overall so far, but there are definitively improvements to be done. On a good day, he was average. Yo. Ooh, we can double our archers. That's pretty neat. Woo! Nope, thank you. Fuck off. Fuck off. Oh. He stole that from me. swarm in 10 seconds. Yeah, I betcha. Swarm incoming. Is it cold? No. Swarm! Get it? Get it? Because, like, instead of it swarm, just say swarm. More automatic. Also, what happened to the beard? I said that before, maybe you didn't hear, but I had to cut it off because I've developed an eczema under my beard because of some bad products I used, which is really sucky. Did you play the GBA? Yeah. Oh my gosh, did I ever play Pokemon? Holy fuck, man. I owned the first iteration of the Game Boys, the Game Boy Pocket. That was black and white and no backlit screen. Or was black and green and no backlit screen, actually. And I played Pokemon ever since. I think I stopped at like... Fuck, I don't remember, but it was years ago now. My younger brother is still playing them, though. Like, he buys them whenever they're released. I really want to kill this fucker. The thing, not my brother. Although, sometimes, you know. Woo! Drift! Get drifted! Gonna do more damage. Starting Leaf Green or 3DS. Leaf Green is such a good game as well. I had Red, Blue, and Yellow of the OG games. Because I was a spoiled little shit. So that was kind of nice. I remember when Yellow came out, it was such a, like, groundbreaking game. Because all of a sudden, you could have a Pokemon walking with you, and you actually got Pikachu as your first Pokemon. You could be Ash Ketchum all of a sudden. Like, wow! Ability, projectiles trigger an additional explosion. Let's do explosions. Whoa. Alright, more damage. I'm just gonna stay behind this fucker. Secret strat unlocked. Alright, cannons. Oh yeah. Right up, all up in my fucking mines. Bitch! Alright, speed up. Let's go. Dixon Dallas. Oh, come on. Dixon Dallas, man. Long time since I heard that fucking artist. Lewd, lascivious chunk. Shit, I haven't gotten a single chest either. First one. Reset all module cooldowns. Yeah, let's do that one. Bam, bam, bam. Yes. Let's do the automatic mortar. More tire. Ooh, gain 1 extra gold per consumed sheep. Fuck yeah. Whenever I eat sheepies. Oh, speaking of. Come here, sheepy, sheepy, sheepy. Whee! Let's do mortar. Goddamn Dixon Dallas. Like, he's not a bad artist either. He rides. You think Dixon Dallas is gonna become an even bigger artist now after Heated Rivalry has become as big as it has? By the way, what a good fucking show. I really love all the hockey in it. No, it's like those two actors, the ones that play Shane and Ilya, just dang, they know how to act. They say so much with just their fucking eyes. Insane. No. Quote from the show. No, sorry. Nope. Like, this is kind of romantic song as well. Like, I'm stuck inside his love, nowhere I'd rather be. I hope Dixon Dell is more famous. More people need to hear his songs, for sure. Some good shit, man. Ah, nom, sheep. Sheep. Nom. Mutton. Jesus, my cannons do a lot of damage. Ability to projectile slow enemies. They already set them on fire, so I don't give a fuck about that one. Cooldowns get 5% faster when boosting. Oh, no, more cannonball damage. Holy shit. Why would I ever choose anything else? No. Alright, faster when low health, I guess. This captain was way better than everyone else. Just the fact that, like, you get more HP when you kill another thing. Because you're gonna kill things anyway. That's a good one. 55 increase in damage. And something I can just dump wherever and whenever. Enemies on fire burn 30% longer. Let's do that. Oh, mortar dude only. I I'll just ride around you, I guess. Like, I'm gonna get hurt for sure, but you're gonna get more hurted. Yeah, see? Eat my balls. I'm gonna grab speed again, because with this captain, we'll get health. Oh. No, 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 no. I'm just gonna upgrade the cannons. So far, cannons are the most goated thing in this game. Haha, yes, burn, baby, burn! Yeah. I'm doing so much damage too. Kind of insane. Just look at that. Look at that shit. Let's go with that one. Just die, dude. Whee! Wanderburg trifft, ja. Swarm in 10 seconds. Your mom in 10 seconds. How about that? Let's do the mine layer. Smack, 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 smack. Oh, fuck yeah. Health and a yummy treat. Nice. Yeah, last amplifier for sure. Yeah, even more damage for sure. What oh shit, I don't even know what I chose there. It appears to be 1. No? No, okay, that was just the automatic one, yeah. Smack, 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 smack. You're a darn bitch. Fuck yeah. Alright, this captain was really, really nice. Some biblical greed going on here. Yeah. No, honestly, this captain is the best one yet. Look at all that HP I have. Oh, I gotta refill. Die. Fuck that firestorm. Ooh, alright. Let's do this. Oh, Jesus. I fucked that up so bad, though. Yep. Yes! Nice! That's the first time we beat the final boss as well. Holy shit. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. Alright. So we gotta beat the boss with one more captain. And then we can enter the raffle. Whoa. Was there a big lag spike there? Consuming trees gain nitro. The game runs twice as fast. Oh my god, sorry, but this is beautiful. Plus, the game runs twice as fast. Minus, the game runs twice as fast. I mean, 15k though. Come on. Come on. Right, let's go Patchy the Pirate then. What is scuffed as hell? Man. Wait, right, I've entirely forgotten to buy to buy weapons as well. I've just been focusing on captains and items. Fuck it. Let's go. We need more HP anyway. Or, I mean, more gold. Magma core. You're writing? Nah, it's not scuffed as hell. I refuse to believe that. I think you're being a little whiny bitch. No. Oh my gosh. One of my writing teachers that I have currently said last year that you gotta believe in your own hubris when you write. I try to remind myself of that often. Just like don't compare yourself to anyone, and also like if it's bad first time around, that's okay. Like that insight has actually helped me a bunch with my writing, because like now I'll be writing and I'll be like, oh, this is a bad sentence. This is a bad, like I don't know how to write this properly. This is shit, and I'm okay with it because I'm like, this is the first fucking draft. Of course it's gonna be bad. You're gonna get better at it. The first step is get words on the page, and at that point it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. What matters is words on the page. And then starts the editing process. And then you'll spend so much time crafting and perfecting shit. And you won't ever be happy about it or with it. I feel like I'm doing the thing I hate when I read, like skipping through stuff too quickly. I mean, it's also your text. Of course you're gonna skip through shit too quickly, because you know what's gonna happen. You know what the text is about. You don't need to stop and think or feel like, what is this about truly? What did the writer want? You know. Yo, what the fuck? Holy shit! Okay. Did not... Whoa. Fucking new run. I entirely forgot that I was Patchy the Pirate. Okay, no, you know, we're gonna be the Count. We're gonna see what happens. I'm rushing to get back to the meaningful bits. It feels like I'm cooked. Stop asking me to explain myself. I will never stop asking you to explain yourself. The air. I love Fatboy Slim. Like, this music is some of the best music ever. Let's go more cannons. All right. No. All right. Let's see. Burning enemies ignite each other when touching. Yes, please. More cannon damage. Always. Oh, come on. Killed my food. Oh my gosh, X Gamers back. What up, X Gamers? How are you doing, X Gamers? I hope you're doing mighty fine, mighty well. Oh, ability. One more volley to the ability, 100%. That served us super well last time. Oh shit, that's the big one. You just got off the train? Nice. I'm just gonna eat some sheep. I feel like they're delicious. Oh, no. No. Mutton. I'm not gaining like 1 HP per sheep, though. I'm not enjoying that. I should be getting a fuck ton of HP every time I eat something. Woohoo! Fuck you, big one! Hold on. Alright, let's see. We haven't been to the east very much. Oh, we have a boss here as well. Woo! Wow! Oh my gosh. Look at me. How good am I at this game? Fuck yeah. Every time I say that, something bad happens to me. I should just shut the fuck up more often. Yeah. Let's go. Ooh, enemy vehicles that die from fire and leaves craters. Yes, 100%. Oh no, I'm getting hunted. Oh no. Haha, sucker. I got your number. Yo, fuck off. Right, nice. More automated shots. People! Oh wait, he actually kills his friends as well, like the other towers. Oh my gosh. Max Nitro and level up. 20% more health from repairs. That should help, right? Classic Skånetrafiken. Nice. Ability to set off an additional shot on explosion. Sure, fuck it, whatever. Let's try that one out this time. Oh, man. Ooh, why hello there. Nice. Definitely grabbing that. 1 extra gold per consumed sheep. Don't mind if I do. Oh, there you are, mister. I was actually thinking about looking for you. Let's do the mortar. Not even shooting at that one, and I killed it anyway. Oh my gosh. That's how good I am. Wait, are those dudes on bicycles? They're not even on horses, they're on bicycles. Okay, that's dope as fuck, actually. Love the design of this game. It is real pretty. And that's it dead, right? Yep. Nice. Oh. Just more cannons. Just give me cannons. Crew works 10% faster. Cooldowns get faster when boosting. That is nice. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh my gosh. Oh. There's a question mark over here. Was ist das? Ooh. I am kind of missing getting more max HP every time I kill something, though. That captain was dope. There we go. Let's do that one. It's like they have in the contract to never be attacked. I mean, maybe. Yo, stop shooting at me. I'm just trying to eat you. Boss has arrived? Nice. Where? I'm just gonna let the boss come to me. Yeah, there you are. Whee! No! Balls, 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 balls. Oh, Jesus, he's taking a lot of damage from me, though. Hey, you do not want to be in close contact with me, bitch. Oh my gosh. Ability to projectile slow enemies. Fuck yeah. Urgh! Fast. My bus home. There's a lot of content to be a demo. Yeah, right? Like, I think also the nature of the game is replayability. So that also makes it so that for a demo, it contains a fuck ton. I've basically been playing... It's the same course, same bosses over and over again, but it's been slightly different runs because of the roguelite elements and stuff. So I'm thinking, like, imagine how big the final game is going to be. That's going to be even more hours of content. Oh my gosh. But next time I die here, I'm probably going to have to end the stream and do something grown up and productive. Enemies on fire burn longer. Fuck yeah. Whee! I'm so fast. Let's do the mortar. Remember, productivity isn't always doing stuff. That's true. That's true. I've been writing a lot today. I had class today. I've been streaming. Maybe I need to be productive by having a sleep. A little nappy nap. Who knows? I get hunted, bitch. Fuck, I need to eat, people. Oh look, people. Whee! Sure. Let's do that. Oh my gosh, people. Oh, no. Yeah, I think we need to do the automatic one. Need to be productive by grabbing water to drink. Yes, this is true. Get productive, you dehydrated bitch. No! How? And that fucking bell again. Oh my gosh. All right, before we end, we're gonna use that money and buy something. Oh my god. Makes me sad. It makes me super duper mega sad. Crew merchants. Generate gold over time. That's actually really good. Slowly gain health over time. I want them, actually. Modules. Fire wizard. 12k. Teleport to a location in front of the vehicle? What the fuck? Boost really fast forwards. Side barracks sounds so cool. At least you're not one of those that are in their last run for 50 runs. That's true. That's true. Not on stream, at least. IRL, though. IRL, it's very often the fact that I'm like, oh, this is the last run, this is the last run, this is the last run. And then all of a sudden, it is 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, oh no. Teehee. But yeah, I wishlisted this game on Steam. I'm gonna play it some more probably later today to try to get into that raffle for it. That sounds fun. So hopefully I'll get it as well. I'm probably gonna stream tomorrow again, doing the same thing, playing a demo and writing while playing the demo. So, wait, no, tomorrow's Wednesday. Tomorrow I won't be doing that, actually. Sorry. Thursday, maybe. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here. And I will see you some other time. Bye-bye.